We've talked about phone-based social engineering and the psychological pressure that voice communication creates. Now we're going to explore an even more direct form of social engineering, the in-person attacks and physical access compromise. We'll review how attackers gain unauthorized physical access to secure facilities, what techniques they use to appear legitimate, and why physical security is as much about people as it is about locks and badges. Physical presence creates unique advantages for attackers that remote attacks can't achieve. Face-to-face interaction triggers stronger social responses. We're hardwired to read facial expressions, body language, and social cues in physical presence. These automatic responses create vulnerability. Physical presence creates immediate social pressure. Confronting someone face-to-face feels more aggressive than questioning an email or hanging up on a phone call. We avoid confrontation often, especially in public or professional settings. Physical access provides direct access to systems, documents, and spaces that are not accessible remotely. An attacker inside your facility can plug devices into networks, photograph sensitive documents, observe security procedures, and gather intelligence that would be impossible to obtain otherwise. It allows real-time observation and adaptation. The attacker can visually read your reactions and adjust their approach based on your responses, improvising as well based on what they see in the environment. You might have a football poster up. You might have some sort of a sign or some sort of decor in the office. All of these things are fodder for them to use. Tailgating is the simplest physical attack. It is following an authorized person through a secure door. It's remarkably effective despite being obvious. The attacker positions themselves near a secure entrance and waits for an authorized person to approach. As that person badges in and opens the door, the attacker follows closely behind, often with their hands full of boxes or coffee, making it awkward for the legitimate employee to close the door in their face. This works because of social conditioning. Holding doors for others is polite behavior. Closing a door on someone feels rude. Challenging someone who might be a legitimate employee or visitor feels confrontational and potentially embarrassing if they turn out to be authorized. Most employees will hold the door rather than create social awkwardness, especially if the tailgater looks professional, carries props that suggest legitimate business, or engages them in friendly conversation that establishes rapport. Looking the part is critical for physical social engineering success. Attackers dress appropriately for their pretext. Sometimes they'll impersonate specific types of staff like IT or wearing a uniform or a business suit, those sorts of things. Their cover story being reinforced by these props like clipboards, toolboxes, boxes, packages, laptops, cables, ID badges, fake, repurposed, hanging visibly, creating assumptions of authorization. They exhibit confident body language, giving you no reason to question them, walking purposefully rather than hesitantly, making eye contact, greeting people naturally, acting like they belong there. Humans make rapid judgments based on appearances. Someone who looks like they belong, we assume they do. Physical social engineering heavily exploits normal social courtesies and our desire to be helpful. Quests like holding doors or getting directions seem innocent and trigger our helpful instincts. Refusing to help someone who appears to have a legitimate need feels mean and contrary to social norms, and attackers exploit this. And like we mentioned with the uniforms or the props, they'll impersonate these common roles, people that you'll see around, maybe delivery drivers, IT tech, people you might not know personally, but who have a certain look about them. And access badges can be compromised through various techniques. So some attackers clone badges using RFID readers that capture badge data wirelessly as they walk near legitimate employees. They create duplicate badges that access the same doors as the legitimate badge, so they don't even have to have somebody hold the door for them. Others just create fake badges that look visually similar so that everybody can not doubt them. High-quality fake badges can be created using publicly available photos of legitimate badges combined with photo editing and printing, not hard for a lot of people to do. Outdoor gathering spaces are valuable observation and approach points for attackers, especially smoking areas or anywhere that people hang out for lunch or things like that. Wherever they're congregating enables attackers to join conversations naturally and gather intelligence about the organization, identify potential targets, and establish rapport with the employees who might later provide access. What if you're a smoker and you hang out in the smoking area and you see somebody there every day and you're chatting with them and then they come up behind you one day to get inside? You're going to hold the door for them. Physical security is often weaker during certain times and situations. During shift changes, multiple people are entering and exiting. Security staff are transitioning and confusion provides cover for unauthorized access. During lunch hours, people stream in and out, holding doors open more freely and paying less attention to who's following them. During events or meetings with many visitors, that's a big open field. Normal access procedures are relaxed to accommodate the volume of people. Sometimes early mornings or late evenings when fewer staff are present, security monitoring might be reduced. If there's moving days, renovations, other disruptions to normal operations, they'll take advantage of these. They'll research and target these windows of vulnerability. Appearing to belong is primarily about confidence and body language rather than credentials. Walking purposefully as though you have somewhere specific to be. Making brief eye contact and casual greetings with people you pass. Navigating the space as though it's familiar to you. Carrying yourself with the relaxed confidence of someone who belongs rather than the nervous energy of someone unauthorized. The security is partly about belonging to the social environment. People will assume that you are what you look like. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it must be a duck, right? Not necessarily. Challenging someone can be embarrassing, annoying, and can lead to bad results if it's somebody in authority or the son of the boss or any number of things like that. So attackers will build the familiarity by spending time researching physical layouts, normal traffic patterns, and organizational culture. There's a powerful insight from the security researcher Bruce Schneier in his book Beyond Fear. He wrote, Security is both a feeling and a reality. They're different. You can feel secure even though you're not, and you can be secure even though you don't feel it. Schneier's observation explains a fundamental problem with physical security. Employees feel secure inside their facilities because they're inside the perimeter, behind locked doors, surrounded by colleagues. This feeling of security reduces vigilance, but physical security requires ongoing verification, checking badges, questioning unfamiliar people, ensuring doors close properly. These behaviors feel paranoid and antisocial inside a space that feels secure. Attackers exploit this gap between feeling and reality. They enter spaces where people feel secure and therefore are less vigilant. They want the path of least resistance. So physical security often fails due to those accumulation of small courtesy-based mistakes. Sometimes attackers are not there to perform the rest of the attack themselves. Sometimes they are people who just do these things to gather intelligence and sell that intelligence to other people who will actually be performing the more severe attacks. A single unauthorized access can provide information for planning much larger compromises. Now, there is also what is called dumpster diving. A lot more people are familiar with it these days. It's searching through disposed documents, searching through the garbage. This provides a surprising amount of valuable information. Organizations often discard documents containing passwords, network diagrams, employee lists, customer data, financial records, and strategic plans without the proper destruction methods having been used. Attackers can legally access dumpsters in many jurisdictions and extract intelligence that would be extremely difficult to obtain any other way. It's not glamorous, but it's effective. The information found in trash has enabled major compromises that appeared to be sophisticated hacking, but actually just started with documents having been carelessly discarded. Sometimes buildings are more vulnerable outside normal business hours when security staffing is reduced and fewer employees are present to notice unauthorized people. Sometimes attackers will hide and wait for after hours when they can operate with minimal risk of detection, access systems without observation, photograph documents without interruption, and install malicious devices without witnesses. Cleaning staff and late working employees rarely challenge people they see after hours, assuming there are other authorized personnel working late. And there are the USB drops and device planting. Physical access enables planting malicious devices that technical controls cannot prevent. Attackers will drop USB drives in parking lots, lobbies, common areas, labeled with intriguing names like executive Salaries 2024 or confidential Q4 plans. Curious employees find these drives and plug them into their computers to see what's on them, unknowingly executing malware. They install keyloggers on unattended workstations or in conference rooms. They plug network implants into Ethernet ports that provide persistent network access. They install hardware between keyboards and computers that capture everything typed, including passwords. These physical attacks bypass network security, endpoint protection, and most technical defenses. And security personnel themselves are targets of social engineering. Attackers engage guards in conversation, building rapport over multiple visits, learning guards' names, showing interest in their work, establishing friendly relationships. Then they make small requests. Building rapport makes even security guards more likely to bend rules for someone they perceive as friendly rather than threateningly unfamiliar. And just like we talked about in the previous lessons, doing something multiple times can be really effective. Sophisticated physical social engineering often involves multiple visits that progressively establish presence and legitimacy. First visit might be fully legitimate, attending a public event, visiting the lobby for a genuine reason, or meeting someone with proper authorization. This will establish facial familiarity. They could pretend to be a salesperson for a visit and have a legitimate meeting with an employee on the pretext of selling them software or an upgrade and not even necessarily be a part of that company, but that has then gotten their foot in the door. It's not until the second visit that they might perform a minor unauthorized thing, staying slightly longer, accessing an area just beyond where they were authorized, returning without escort, things like that, testing responses and expanding their access. And with each subsequent visit, they're more likely to do more and more to build on these established patterns and get away with more, achieving more without triggering alerts, because they are a familiar face. Defending against physical social engineering requires both policies and cultural change. Verify identification of all unfamiliar people, even if it feels awkward. Don't hold doors or badge people in. Escort visitors to their destinations. Don't leave them unattended. Challenge people who appear lost or in areas they shouldn't be. Can I help you find something? Is a polite way to determine if someone is authorized. Properly destroy documents containing sensitive information. Don't just throw them in regular trash. Be aware of your surroundings and who's present. If something seems off, someone hovering near secure doors, unusual after-hours presence, unfamiliar people in restricted areas, report it. Organizations have to balance security with hospitality, but security has to take priority in areas containing sensitive information or systems. The final lesson in this section is going to explore digital social engineering and long-term manipulation campaigns.